actually, hi guys, hi everybody. I'm Kalila Reynolds, which you probably know because you're on my channel, right? And today I'm telling you about an upcoming offer from Derrimon Trading Company Limited. They've created brand new shares in the company and they're selling them to the public in what's called an additional public offer, an APO, on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. So Derrimon has actually been listed on the junior market of the stock exchange since 2013, so that's some 7 years. You may be familiar with at least some of their brands. So they have Sampar's Supermarket, as well as Select Grocers. So they do food distribution. You guys know Chubby Sodas, Busta, Fruta, all those popular brands. Those are all distributed by Derrimon Trading. So they're part of the JSE's Manufacturing and Distribution Index. And if you follow Money Mondays, hold on, I didn't do that right. If you follow Money Mondays JA and Taking Stock, you know that particular index, the Manufacturing and Distribution Index, has been doing quite well even during this pandemic. So today you'll get the chance to ask Chairman and CEO Derrick Cotterel and the Chief Financial Officer Ian Kelly anything you want to know about the company or about the APO. But first, here's a little background from Money Mondays JA that we did in October. Derrimon Trading Company operates the Sampar's cash and carry chain, 2 Select Grocers supermarkets, one in Manor Park and the other in Crossroads, Caribbean Flavours and Fragrances Limited, Woodcats International Limited, and a distribution hub located at Marcus Garvey Drive. Yeah, they've got quite a bit going on. Now, with all these companies in the group, Derrimon Trading made some big announcements at their annual general meeting, AGM, on September 25. They're planning to expand. They also say they're COVID resistant. At a time when many businesses are contracting, Derrimon is reporting increased business. They've even hired more staff to work both in-store and online to handle the extra demand. Now, as the company's chairman and CEO Derrick Cotterel put it, there's no substitute for food, at least not yet. He also said that notwithstanding the extra activity, there were no reports of COVID cases in any of their warehouses or retail chains. In addition, Cotterel told shareholders that the company plans to grow the business by expanding both its local and international markets.
Derrimon continues to look to grow. We think it's very important that we look for the opportunities to grow, and we have identified some opportunities not just locally but overseas, and over the next few months we'll be pursuing them. We think it's important that we diversify the business. We believe we should diversify the business not just in the existing industries that we're in, but we also need to diversify outside of the existing industries that we are in. But more than anything else, we believe that there's deeper ways we can grow our business within the existing industry. And as we can see, the food industry has proven to be very resilient in this COVID-19 crisis. which we expect to last for a bit longer.
Now, during the last financial year, Derrimon more than tripled its warehouse capacity from 30,000 square feet to 105,000 square feet at Tom Kringle Drive off Mandela Highway. Big move. Cotterel also said that Derrimon will be rolling out a new information technology system that will bring all the operations under one platform.
If everything goes to plan, we'll implement this new IT system by the end of the year. Also, I should note that this has been an enterprise system. It will be able to put all the businesses on one platform. Now, we won't be doing that at the end of this year. We're going to start with distribution, and we're going to put Sampars on. Then CFF and Woodcats will come on the same platform, so it will make our accounting system a lot better and make reporting faster and more efficient. So this is a major thing that we're doing.
Now, let's talk money. Chief Financial Officer Ian Kelly reports that the group made 10% more profit between January and June this year compared to the same period last year. That's $184 million in profit, or about 1.3 million US. Total revenues for the period were $6.3 billion, about 44 million US. Kelly says the growth is coming from the company's retail segments, Sampars and select grocers, along with Caribbean Flavours and Fragrances, CFF. I have another recent video about CFF. You can click the link up here or in the description below to learn more about that company. Now, at the AGM, Derrimon's shareholders approved the board's request for an additional public offer APO. Remember, we've spoken a lot about APOs. That's when a company increases or creates additional shares and offers them for sale to the public. That's where we were in October. Just before we heard the news of the additional public offer, we were expecting it. Now those details are finally out. Here are the details of the offer. Derrimon Trading Company Ltd is selling 1.5 billion new ordinary shares in the company. If you're an existing shareholder or Derrimon team member, you can buy new shares for $2.20 each. Everyone else can purchase at $2.40 each. There are reserved pools for key investors and clients of the lead broker Barita Investments, but still at the same $2.40. In total, they're seeking to raise about 3.5 billion Jamaican dollars, or about 24 million US dollars. But if there's a lot of interest, they could go as high as 4.22 billion, or about 29 million US. The offer opens January 6, 2021, and is scheduled to close on January 26, 2021. But remember, it could close early. Lead broker is Barita Investments. All right, thank you everybody for sticking with us. This is our live Q&A with Derrimon Trading ahead of the opening of their additional public offer. As you just saw, that APO opens on January 6th, 2021. So is that next week? Yeah, next week already. Look how time is going. The new year is upon us. It's scheduled to close on the 26th, but as we all know, these things could close early. So you want to make sure that you get in on time if this is an offer that you're interested in. And this is your opportunity now to ask the CFO and the CEO/chairman, founder as well, anything you want to know about the company. Before we started this evening, Derrick Cotterel was telling me, anything you guys want to know, any clarity, anything that he can bring to let you feel more comfortable with this offer, he is more than willing to answer your questions. You can ask those questions in the live chat on YouTube or in the live Get the Ball started. So hi, Derrick. Hi, Ian.
Hi, Kalila. Good evening.
Good evening, Kalila. Good evening, viewers and listeners.
Good, good. Ian, I know this has been a very difficult time for you. Condolences on the loss of your mom.
Thank you.
Boy,
Thank you.
I don't know how you do it with managing APO and all this stuff during.
Well, look at it like this, Kalila. My mom would be very honored and would be happy to know that I'm managing my time and I'm getting something done. that will enrich people's lives in the future. So, you know, from that perspective, you have to carry on. And that's what I'm doing.
All right, guys, I'm back. So I've been having a bit of internet challenges at the moment, but here I am. You guys hearing me all right now? Seeing me all right, Derek, Ian?
Yes,
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, good. Let's hope this doesn't happen again. But let me get the ball started before we head over to our viewers on YouTube and Facebook. So Derek, you're the founder of this company, and that's before Stampars, before the big names that we know. Tell me how you got started.
Oh, well, we started back in 1998. In fact, it was December 1998. So this month marks the 22nd anniversary of Derrimon Trading. Lots seems to happen for us in December. We got listed in December 2013. So I guess like we celebrate the birth of Christ, we can celebrate a lot of stuff in Derrimon too. But we started in 1998, very small, one customer, one shipment, and the Lord has blessed us that we have, you know, continued to grow. I remember in 2002 we got a deal with Nestle to do distribution for them in 4 parishes. It was $1 million worth of sales that they were doing at the time with about 100 customers. And we have since grown that over the years to over $1 billion, and we're doing distribution for Nestle island-wide. You know, we grow the company further by getting into Sampars, and everybody knows Sampars and also name. We bought the assets of Sampars in 2009, and since then we have grown that to 7 Sampars brick and mortar stores, plus select grocers in Manor Park. And we also have our exciting online stores, shopstampars.com. So that gives us 9 stores, with the e-store being one of them. Fast forward to 2013, we listed. 2014, we acquired the majority shareholdings of Caribbean Flavor and Fragrances. 2018, we both acquired the portfolio, distribution rights for the portfolio of the SMG lead products. And also we had this exciting pallet making company called Woodcats that we added to our portfolio. And that's, in a synopsis, is the history of Derrimon Trading. And, you know, we're looking towards 2021 and beyond with this APO to take Derrimon to the next level, because, you know, we believe there are lots of opportunities out there for growth. And we think we have the right vehicle and track record to grow businesses. So.
And we definitely want to talk about your growth plans, your acquisition plans, but let's look a bit at some more of the history of the company. So tell me about the acquisition of Woodcats, because it's not what you traditionally have been doing, particularly in food distribution and product distribution. Woodcats manufactures pallets. So why did you venture into that business, and how has it affected your overall business?
Okay, well, in 2018, we got the opportunity to look at that business. The owners were selling, they wanted to retire. And they seem to do pretty good with businesses with owners who want to retire. So we met with him. There are 4 prospective buyers actually, and we met with him first. He was so very comfortable with us that he told the arrangers of the purchase not to send anybody else. He was going to do the deal with us. We had not set up a price or anything, but he was that comfortable with us. We thought Woodcats is coupled with CFS, the CFF, those 2 companies supply manufacturers. So we thought it was a very good fit. People may not realize, well, it's without a pallet being available, production lines will stop because there's no way to move the products off the line. So we thought that was a very good business to invest in. Also, Summerland mulch is a product that's produced by that company. In fact, that company doesn't have any waste at all. Even the sawdust is sold. So we thought it was a pretty good company that we could add value to. You know, since we got involved and we bought this company, We have done quite a bit to, help with the logistics and sourcing and all that, to put our, the value that we can bring to those kind of businesses, and as increase the sales and also the profitability of that company. So we think it's an excellent fit, and we have big plans for Woodcats. You'll see more happening with Woodcats in 2021 and beyond. We have really exciting plans for Woodcats.
Okay, so Ian, I was looking through the financial statements. You have the past 5 years of financial statements in the prospectus, and you definitely would notice the growth in this company. So over the last 5 years, you've grown from $6 billion to $12 billion in revenues, and then from 88 million to 302 million in net profits over the past 5 years. So that's 3.5 times the net profits since 2015. What would you say has been the biggest push behind your growth in the past 5 years?
I think it's a combination of strategies, Kalila. We believe in buying business that can add value to the top line. We believe in negotiating with our suppliers in all the business so that our cost of sales and that we create efficiencies within our logistics and our cost of sales so that our gross profit margin can be improved. We believe in every year to set very aggressive goals with respect to efficiencies and cost management. And as a result of that, the combination of all of those aggressive targets for the top line, squeezing of the COGS, and the management of your efficiencies in terms of your costs are the reason for this growth. It is also coupled by the expansion plans that we would have done from the perspective of the acquisition of CFF, the acquisition of Woodcats, and also the acquisition of the SM Jalil portfolio in 2018. So all of those factors are really factors which help with the growth in the bottom line. And we think we would have had, we know that we have the formula with respect to acquisitions and how to turn those businesses into more profitable operations, and then coupled with our trademark and our structured approach to cost management. I think those are some of the critical pillars that we have used to grow.
So I don't recall, and guys, please bear with me. I know I'm having some internet difficulties this evening, so it seems to be a popular.
Right. So we believe, though, that examining all those cost factors are things that are aspects which help us to grow. At Derrimon Trading, we tend to manage costs on a unit basis. So rather than looking at costs on a global perspective, we would look at individual costs and try to see whether the efficiencies are optimized.
All right, Ian. So I must apologize. I've been having some internet issues this evening. I don't know what's going on, but things are looking good for you for sure. And let me take some questions from social media. So we have 174 people, 181 people now on YouTube, and we already have some questions coming in. So let me start with one from Mark Gale. Mark was asking, let me see if I can bring up back the question. Can we get specifics about what the foreign expansion plans are? Which retailers and products are they going to? So who wants to take that one? Derrick?
I'll take that one. The overseas expansion is to North America. We have not yet finalized everything, but we're in the final steps. Probably have 2 or 3 steps to go to finish. So we're like, if it's a 400-meter race, we're at like 390 meters, 395 meters to go. So we're almost over the line with that one. It's a business that we're familiar with. We have taken a long time to study this business, over a year to be exact. Not that we're unfamiliar with the business and the products, but it's a new market. And we have been very cautious We have also watched what has been the effect of the pandemic on this business, and it has, well, businesses, there's two businesses. It has had a positive effect on the businesses. So it has given us the impetus to move further. So it's in the food wholesale retail distribution line. That's as without getting into too much specifics, given that we have disclosure issues. I don't want to create disclosure issues with the stock exchange, but I can give you that level of detail. And it's we decided to enter the North American market with an existing business that has a proven track record. Business has been around for many, many years. The current owner will still be around with us and will have an interest in the business. So we'll have continuity and we'll get a lot of that goodwill from that existing business. So the risk is extremely low, and we already understand the business and have firm plans in place so we can put our mark on it to ensure that things improve and give shareholders more value. And we're very, very excited about that. It's also a wonderful opportunity for Derrimon to earn foreign exchange. Right now, we're net users of foreign exchange. We want to change that in another few years, that we're net earners of foreign exchange. So this is the first step in this very, very exciting journey that will not just change Derrimon trading, I'll tell you, but will have an impact on Jamaica, because we're going into a pretty big market and we're going in with quite a bit of knowledge, quite a bit of relationships already, and there's quite a bit of opportunity there.
It sounds really exciting the way that you describe it, reading about the opportunity in the US market. We know of other Jamaican businesses who have either gone into the US market or have plans to enter that market as well. But it's a very big market, like you said, but it's also a hugely competitive market. So how do you stand out in that huge US market?
Well, that's why we're going the way we are. We are acquiring an existing business rather than going greenfield. That will be a lot more challenging. So this business is already existing already as a market share. We are just going in to enhance it. We will bring our logistics, our supplier relationships. It's in a related business, related field. So like I said, the risk is very, very low for us. And although it's competitive, the level of organization that we bring to this business will help us quite a bit. So we see a clear growth path for this, very, very clear growth path. But even if we, were to be a little bit slow in growth, which I doubt, the business is still a profitable, vibrant business. So, we have that added security going into that business. So we are very, very, very bullish and very optimistic as to how well we will do in the United States. We really see no reasons why we shouldn't. And in fact, I'll say this, we will immediately add our web store offerings there. And, it will solve one of the problems we have, because we're sending products from Jamaica all over the world to far places like Dubai and Africa. We're sending products from Jamaica there. If we have the products taken from North America, it's going to cut the transit time down significantly, and we'll get better access to these markets with our e-commerce. So, that's just another money stream, another earning stream. So we're extremely excited as to how well we can do in the United States.
In fact, Derrick spoke to the due diligence. We have a very clear charter when we do a due diligence on companies. So you move from top to bottom. So things like competitive pricing at all levels, pricing strategy, the methodology for sourcing, and how things flow to the bottom line, the tax implications, all of those factors have been taken into consideration on a line and a unit basis. And the comparisons are done over 5 years in order to look at the trends. And I think based on the trends, and even within the pandemic, it would have given the clear base that will help us to plan and strategize as we enter that space.
Yeah, and looking at your projections in the prospectus, you're expecting revenues and profits to double over the next 5 years, partly, I imagine, as a result of these acquisitions, yes?
It's a combination of strategies, Kalila, because if and when we go into the use of the proceeds, it's a combination of organic growth, efficiencies, increasing efficiency. So we expect the local operation to grow. We expect to have savings from our debt reduction strategies, and also we expect to increase our profit from this acquisition, and even at this stage, we have been even very conservative with the approach, given the fact that there are translation gains that are expected from that will downflow into our local company.
All right, let's take some more questions from our viewers, and we have 191 people joining us live right now. So I'm liking that on YouTube. I haven't checked the Facebook. Kayla Moore says, the proceeds are going to be for debt payments. Actually, are going to be for debt payments. I noticed that a lot of people online have been commenting about that as well. So tell me about the use of proceeds. In addition to using the proceeds for this expansion that you're expecting in the United States, you also are going to be using, I think, 1.3 billion for debt repayment. What was the purpose of the debt, and why have you decided to channel some of the funds that direction?
All right, over the years, our growth, there are two ways of growing, debt and equity. And we would have chosen the part of debt to grow the company because we had a specific plan. And the plan was driven by twofold. One, to move from bullet payment loans, and then after a period of time when you would have increased your top line, to which we have delivered on, then you'll be able to generate the gross profits, so that you're able to amortize your debt. And that we would have done 18 months earlier than we would have put in our 5-year strategic plan. All of our debt have been utilized for acquisition. We would have bought 7 stores, 7 Sampar stores, 1 Select store, Caribbean Flavours, 75%, which was further reduced to 62%, and 100% in Woodcats International. Plus, there would have been some further capital expansions that we would have done within the group, and is currently being done. So we would have known that in order to finance these activities, in order to build the base of the company, we either have debt or equity, and in this case, we chose the debt path. Our strategy now is, in addition to the amortization of the debt, which we would have embarked on about 2 years ago, and the conversion of all of our US dollar loan debt to Jamaican dollar. The third pillar would be now to reduce the debt. So some of the proceeds from this APO will come into effect, that will close early in January. We'll utilize to start to reduce debt in the first quarter. And thereafter, we'll give the other institution the notice that we'll be moving to reduce another $800 or $900 million. Our objective is to reduce the debt by 1.2 billion, and if we upsize, then we'll use also some of that proceeds to further reduce the debt. Because 1, it will give us space. 2, it will move our debt to equity from the current part of about 62 to 38% to equity of 70%, 70.3% to about 29.5% for on the reverse scale.
So that
in addition to that,
company, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was saying in addition to that, we were choosing to pay down the debt so we can pay bigger dividends. So the shareholders will benefit from this reduction in the debt and the reduction of debt interest payment. A lot of the debt interest payment would then be going into dividends. So that's a an added benefit for investors.
That's what I was just about to ask you about. So I was going to say, so paying down the debt means that you'd be a more profitable company and you have more to
Right.
share with investors. What is your
Exactly.
dividend policy?
Well, the company have now, within the prospectus, within this APO prospectus, we have committed to pay 30% of our profitability to investors. Presently, we are in our low, we are in the single digits at this point in time. And you could understand why we were not in a position to pay dividends before, because if we're expanding and based on the level of aggressive growth that the company would have embarked on over the past year, we would never be in a position to increase in share value and as well as making dividend payment. However, within the last 3 years, we would have made dividends consistently. And we feel that based on the strategies and what is being generated by our models, that we end up in a position to pay a minimum of 30% profit to our shareholders on an annual basis.
I think our viewers and listeners like to hear that. I think I've sorted out my internet issues too, so fingers crossed that we don't have any more issues for the rest of the night. Ian Williams is asking, outside of the US, are you planning on entering the Caribbean market?
Well, we're constantly looking at opportunities. I can't say we have any deliberate plans now, but we see opportunities coming up in the Caribbean, and we'll be looking at those as we go along. But the short answer is we have no immediate plans, but it's something we're looking at.
And another related question, Silver Red 6 says, are plans on the table to pivot into food processing? So right now you're doing distribution. Any plans for manufacturing yourself?
Okay, well, Caribbean Flavours and Ferguson does some amount of that. And whatever food processing would be more than likely done through that company. There are other opportunities to do food processing of a different nature, especially since we're going overseas. And we'll look at that as we go along in the first year or two to see how we can add value there. But we like to concentrate on the areas that we are very strong, and retail and distribution is where a lot of our strength is. But we have no issue in looking at if there's opportunities come to grow in that area. We have no issue in looking there, especially since we're going overseas.
Philip Burgess wants to know, is the vertical integration of the North American acquisition expected to improve profit margins?
Without question, yes.
If it wouldn't.
I mean, our analysis would have shown that there's a need for us to improve margins, and we have aggressive net profit to sales ratio that we have to improve, and we think this is one of the first stage of helping us to get to that position, and to eventually grow it, given some of the many opportunities that exist within that market space.
Next set of questions are all related to this field. Mark has a follow-up question. He says, assuming that the foreign acquisition happens, because you do make some provision in the prospectus that there's a possibility that it wouldn't, what impact will it have on both gross and net margins within 12 to 24 months?
I think it's outlined in the prospectus, but go ahead and get to the details.
So I'm just saying that, we, at this point in time, we'll prefer when that, when the deal is completed, fully completed, then that will do the necessary, given the fact that, we have to be very cautious with the levels of information that we put out at this point in time. We prefer to speak to the known and the known numbers, given, possibility for us to get down into, and the profit margins, we prefer for that to come in as bonus. But one thing for sure is that the acquisition will bring tremendous benefit, financial benefits to the company, and it will be a game changer for the company in the future.
Well, let me bring up your projections from the prospectus. So Shango, I'm going to do a screen share now, and I'm going to show you guys what the So for the viewers who've been asking about the projections, these are the 5-year projections in the prospectus. So you can see here. So they're looking at top line revenue, 5.9 billion Jamaican dollars for 2020. And then by 2024, they're expecting that to grow to 10.8 billion. So almost double within the next 5 years. And for net income, so those are the profits, we're looking at a move from 358 million Jamaican dollars this year projected to 739 by 2024. So this is all in the prospectus. You can download it for those who have further questions about projections and the impact of this particular acquisition. All right, let's go to some more questions from social media. We have now 215 people joining us. I just like to see these numbers climbing, going up and up and up. There is good interest in this APO, Ian and Derrick. So let's see what else we have here. Justin Burke asked, what are the plans to increase profit margins going forward? I think we've been discussing that for the past few minutes. Robert Young has a question about the share price. So he says, why is Derrimon selling shares in its APO for $2.40 when it's currently trading at $2.37?
That's one thing we always say, we let the market determine what share the price trade at. And the price is really a snapshot of many different variables. The truth is, we know that we know what the value of the company, the value proposition that we're bringing to the table. We know where this share has traded. I mean, I recall the share trade to a high of $4.10 or $40.10 prior to splitting to the 10-to-1 split. And we know that given what we're bringing to the table and the levels of investments, acquisition, and increases in the value of the company, we're certain that $2.40, in fact, is really a rather steep discount at this point in time. But we are willing to go at that price to allow investors to benefit from the potential growth that we'll see in the future. The truth is, the reduction in debt will bring efficiencies and cost savings. The increase in our retail outlets, which we expect to come on in the middle of 2021. The growth through the expansion overseas will bring huge upsides. So 237 as against 240, I'm sure that when it is time for the home, we'll see it move back to where the price truly belongs.
So am I muted? No, I'm not. I'm on. All right. So if you guys look at the chart, this is from the Jamaica Stock Exchange's website right now. So yes, it did close at 237 today. Over the past 3 months, you would see where it has been. So it's been as high in the past 3 months as 292. In the past 6 months, let's take a look at what the stock price for Derrimon has been doing, up to 296, and the low would have been about 209. So based on when you guys would have announced the APO, I think it was, I guess you could say it would be a fair price based on when you announced. When did you announce again, Ian?
It was announced in October. November.
Early November?
Yes.
So sometime around this period. So around early November, you would see right around the 240 mark, 250 mark. So went as low as 232. So there you get, where the stock price or where the price for the APO would have come from. All right, let's see what else.
In fact, when the price was determined, the stock was trading at 292, which was about a 19% discount at the price of $2.40.
Gotcha. Yes. All right. So let's see what else we have. We have a lot of questions here, especially On YouTube, Kemi says, this is a comment, as a person who studies logistics and supply management, I love the sound of this. It sounds next level. I think they're really impressed with your acquisition plans in the US. We haven't spoken about the impact of the pandemic yet. I'm sure there are some questions on that, and I know that you guys have been moving into online shopping. So Derrick, tell me, 2020 has been a very interesting year. Although we looked at the numbers for the past 5 years and we've seen that, really good growth, 2019 versus 2020 has been fairly flat in terms of your growth, and that's expected given the impact of the pandemic. But tell me how specifically it's impacted Derrimon Trading.
Well, it impacted some of our business units negatively. I mean, we sell quite a bit of products to schools. Schools have been closed since March. We sell quite a bit of products to offices. There's no consumption going on in terms of nightlife and entertainment, and we do supply to those trades. But we are a very dynamic company, so we managed to pivot pretty quickly to get to where people were spending money, and we have managed to, pivot into those areas. We have also done tremendous working with a lot of organizations, a lot of groups to do a lot of care packages at extremely good prices to ensure that we can do our part in this for the less fortunate who are suffering through this pandemic. So the fact that we lost some amount of business in some significant sectors, and we still managed to come out flat or a little bit ahead of last year's sales, is testimony to how versatile the company is and how agile we are, how quick we can react to market conditions. Because in March, when the shutdowns began, we actually had some preparation in place. We had some shipments coming in to increase our availability of products. So we had some level of preparation because of the way we operate. So we were able to take advantage of that. So I think we are very pleased with our performance for this year. In fact, profitability is up. Sales is a little bit up, but we're very, very happy with our performance for this year. And we're going to be even happier for 2021 to our performance. Pandemic or no pandemic, we are pretty much prepared, and we understand how to work in this environment. As you mentioned, the web store.
Online shopping. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the web store did extremely well. I mean, I'll share with the listeners that, to show how we have to react pretty quickly. We had probably a 2,000% increase in orders when there was a St. Catherine lockdown, like overnight. So we had to, contact all the customers, bring on extra staff. First of all, talk to customers to fulfill their expectations. Because we couldn't fill all those orders in one day. We normally deliver within 24 and 48 hours. But we managed to do all the orders within 3 to 4 days and manage all the communication. And we have gotten a lot of new business because of our response in St. Catherine. And it was not just from St. Catherine residents buying products to be shipped to St. Catherine, but people overseas and also people all around the island. So, our agility and our ability to act quickly in quote unquote crisis situation has been, very beneficial to us. And we, that's what we always bring to the table. We have a very good team at Derrimon that moves pretty quickly, so we can take advantage of whatever situation comes at us.
So this is what the website looks like. It's shopsampars.com. This is my first time coming to it, actually. So I'm looking at it now. Can you buy anything that you sell at Sampars?
Well, you can pause there. If you want a quick fix, you can just click on one of those bars, and pretty much you see the price of the bars there. It's in US dollars. It's also in Jamaican dollars. We have pre-packed some bars, and you can just click on that, and it will be sent to wherever you want it to go. That's the first easy way to shop. Or you can go through and pick the individual items you want to pick. We have pre-picked some bars, but we'll have the basic products that you'll want. If you want luxury products, if you want ham or sorrel or whatever you need, you can add to the bar. Or if you don't want to go the bar route, you just want to pick out your stuff, you can do that. You can save your grocery shopping list. So when you're going to go again, you just click on that list and can edit it. So you know, we've been around for 10 years. It's a premier online shopping site in Jamaica. It is something that, like I said, going overseas will help us in fulfillment, because we do get orders that we need to ship overseas, and we have, you know, that takes a little bit of time shipping it from Jamaica. This new acquisition will allow us to be able to ship from America to America and to the world. So we anticipate that we're going to do a lot better with online shopping overseas than even what we have been. We've been pretty successful here in Jamaica. We expect it to grow exponentially overseas as they have a more developed network, and people are more accustomed to online shopping there. So we're very excited about our web store.
I like this a lot. I heard one of you, I think it was Ian, call it food remittances. I never thought about food remittances before. That was you, Ian? I heard it somewhere.
Yes. And it's something that we felt that, you know, many times based on our studies and our interaction with different persons in the diaspora, there are times when the cash is sent and it's for food, and it is used for other purposes. So the intended use is channeled elsewhere, and as a result of that, our food remittance helped to solve that problem and helped us ensure that your intentions are fulfilled. And that aspect of the business, especially within the diaspora, has grown intensely and has increased tremendously. And we continue to work with some overseas partners we have, especially within the eastern seaboard, and that continues to grow. And surely, as Derrick says before, the move to the next level will create an even bigger opportunity in this space, because as we improve the website and as we improve our efficiencies, the convenience and our pricing strategy will ensure that our 10th store gets bigger and bigger.
You know, I really like this idea, because we do have this barrel culture in Jamaica where but traditionally the barrel comes from the United States. So now your family in the diaspora can go on shopsampars.com and purchase a barrel, and that comes right from you here in Jamaica to their family member. So it arrives a lot faster too.
What is
also that shipping fee.
What is also good to Kalila is the fact that because of our locations, we have locations in Manchester, St. Anne, Kingston, Old Harbour, or logistics and logistics management, and our ability to fill these orders from any one of our creates a level of efficiency and satisfaction to the recipient of these barrels.
Yeah, and for the consumers, I mean, they don't have to go to the port. They don't have to pay transportation costs to ship the barrel, because pretty much, you know, when people in the diaspora ship a barrel, they oftentimes have to send money to clear the barrel too. So they're spending, when you check up how much you're spending on the barrel, I'm not sure if it's worth it all the time. But in this case, you spend one time, whatever it is you want to choose to spend, and your products get delivered within 48 hours to your relatives. There's a few exceptions to the 48-hour rule, I must say, just to be very clear and transparent. There are some routes that we do once per week, but it's pretty much within 3 days, everybody will get their stuff. It's certainly faster than shipping a barrel, which would take at least 2 to 3 weeks. Minimum.
See, this is part of the beauty of doing a public offer, because you also get publicity for some of the things that you already have, because I didn't know that you had this service, and it works the other way too, right? So I can purchase a barrel in Jamaica and ship it to my family in the States if they're feeling for some Jamaican goodies.
Exactly, right? And now that we are going to have a location in the United States, it makes fulfilling that order a lot faster and easier, because now we'd have to be filling it from Jamaica and then shipping it. So it will be cheaper, faster, easier, with us being there, you know. So, you know, it's just, I'm just so excited about this. It's, you know, the potential is just, you know, great.
In fact, Derrick, one of the service that we'll be offering from the locations in the US. You know, some persons are really not computer savvy. We will also have physical packages so that somebody could just go there, buy the packages, look at what they want, and buy that package, and then that will be transcribed and transferred to the filling station. So it also take away your fears of going on the computer, because we still have some of those persons around based on age and you know,
Right.
little fears.
So you still get to go inside a physical location. I know that the details are still being worked out. This acquisition is not yet complete. You said it's fairly advanced, but what's your timeline on having it completed? What's your expectation?
Well within the first quarter. It should be very, 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 very early next year. Very early next year.
Okay. Alex Williams has a question about that acquisition as well. He says the target companies, or it's a are the target companies publicly listed? Is it a chance there will be a combination of stock and cash offer for the acquisition?
They're not publicly listed, and it's we're going to use cash as opposed to stock and cash offer.
Saw another question. I'm trying to find it back. It was an interesting question. Somebody wants to know, can you purchase shares now or when it opens? Yeah, you can buy now. First of all, you can buy on the open market if you want to, or you can participate in the APO. You can put in your order now, and it would be processed when after the transaction closes, after the APO closes.
Well, the APO officially opens on the 6th, but Barita will
Right.
take your orders now.
DB says, please ask if they intend to retire the bond early.
Well, the bond matures in March, and I think we should close this issue long before March. So it would make sense for us, whatever savings we can make, for us to do it.
Okay. Stephanie Sewell says, how soon would that 30% dividend policy start? Or when does DT estimate that they can complete interest payments and divert profits to dividends?
We expect to close all the debt repayments by the middle of the second quarter, because I mean, like any debt, there are always prepayment clauses, and we will abide by all the rules. But we would have identified all the debt that we intend to retire, and we expect to do that to make that request immediately upon the closure of the APO.
Omar Irving says, any new job vacancy?
We're always looking for good talents.
So Omar, it's up to you. What can you do? What service do you offer? Let's see what else we have here. Lots more questions. I have to scroll through and pick some out. Randy Burgess wants to know about your corporate social responsibility activities. He says if you have any specific to the environment or how environmental sustainability is reflected in your business activities.
Okay, well, our main trust is education, but we do some work in terms of the environment. We do quite a bit of recycling. A lot of our packaging material that comes in the container, we will not put in the landfill. We have specific people we work with who will do the recycling of those products. Woodcats itself does quite a bit of recycling. We do, like I said, Woodcats have absolutely no waste, so there's nothing going there. We have made some investment in Woodcats also to ensure that it is more environmentally friendly, and we have plans in the future to use more energy sustainable, natural energy sources like solar in some of our operations. We have changed out and retrofitted virtually all of our stores to new energy saving lighting equipment, and also refrigeration stuff is We have gone through a whole process of changing them out. So we have quite a bit of stuff that we do with the environment. We don't make a lot of noise about it, but we're very environmentally aware, and we do believe in protecting this planet and do our part. Truth is, we don't really get involved with a lot of the dirty stuff in terms of industry. In terms of the plastic bag initiative by the Jamaican government, we were right up front with it. And you'll have seen those pretty samples and silicose bag all around the place that we have been using to help to preserve the environment as best as we can.
I think
so
also, Derrick, you should speak to the impact on the environment that we have done at CFF, because that's one of our subsidiary companies that is very big on preserving the environment, and we would have put in many different systems in place to ensure that the environment is not negatively impacted by our production and our manufacturing process.
Okay, good stuff. So Paul Davis says, on page 12 of the prospectus, it defines existing shareholders as at opening date, which is January 6th. If I should own at least one stock in Derrimon by January 6th, would I qualify for the APO price at $2.20?
January 6th. Well, the fact is that when you buy a stock, it has to be settled within 3 days. 3 days. So if it is bought,
it is no.
It is bought on January 6th, it would not be, it would not qualify.
But if it's bought before that,
if it's
so
bought before,
2 days, at least 2 business days before
there's
that,
2 business days,
qualify.
it would qualify.
Okay, there you go, Paul. So jump on that if that's your plan to qualify for the existing shareholders pool. Ian Williams says, how are current shareholders protected from share dilution? So Derrick, I know your shareholding is going to fall significantly. I think I saw from 40% to 26%.
Yes, but you will have to understand that the company is going to grow. You're going to have to be able to look at the bigger picture. And we see a lot more value in a bigger company than to hold on to existing shareholding. The truth is, this move by Derrimon, this APO, is going to put us in a completely different space that we can grow the company even faster. Our growth has been rapid and been pretty well sustained. This APO is going to take us to another level. If you look at the very big companies in the States, the leading shareholders have sometimes single-digit shareholdings. So we understand the dilution, but it's really to go into growing the business, and we think it's going to be better shareholder value for all the shareholders. I'm pretty much being the number one, the leading shareholder. I have no issues with the dilution of the shares.
And it also
and for those.
It also speaks to the confidence we have in the strategy of the company. Yes, dilution is a factor, but when you're confident that the growth, when you're growing the base so that you have enough liquidity and cash to take the company to another level, the end result in terms of your financial gains will be much, much greater than holding on to a huge value for a mattress box.
So we have a lot of comments.
Well, let me just add to the dilution. I mean, you have a choice. If you don't want your shares to be diluted, you can go back into the APO and buy more shares. So that's at a discounted price. So,
exactly.
You got a choice,
Exactly.
That's an idea. I mean, let's buy some more shares too.
We have a lot of comments about your website, which we had been taking a look at a short while ago. Akeem Morgan says the website needs to be worked on, though. The user experience is poor, but it works. Christoph says, I agree. It's not going to hold a candle on the international market. And Kayla Moore says, ask the question, are there any plans to improve the user interface where the website is concerned? This has to be key now that business is being expanded even more.
I agree with your comments. I'm being totally honest. I agree with the comments. We're working on it. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background. Very early next year, the users will have a much better experience on our website. But we're aware of it, and the comments are fair, and we accept the criticism, and we're working on it as we speak.
And the truth is, we are changing our entire technology platform. So rather than doing things in bits and pieces, We prefer to take a holistic approach to put in a fully integrated enterprise system and a very modern website that will allow, us to have a bit, or users to have a better experience, and we know at that point in time, both the enterprise system and the website can work as a selling tool for the organization.
And Ian Williams wants to know, can other Caribbean islands get a barrel done and delivered from your website? Example to Barbados or Trinidad or Antigua.
Yes, we can ship stuff there. Yeah, we can. There's no reason why we can't. We have gotten requests for Guyana before and for Barbados. Not many, but we do ship anywhere in the world, really. It just takes a little bit more time than it would normally take in Jamaica. But we can ship anywhere.
There's a good question from Christoph. I'm glad Christoph brought this up because I intended to ask and I forgot. So in your prospectus, you don't necessarily have your business lines divided up to say, what percentage of your revenue comes from CFF and from Woodcats and from Sampars and select grocers. So Christoph says you divide your company in 3 segments. What percentage of your revenue comes from each segment?
All right. So if you should look at Derrimon distribution and Sampars, I mean, you would have seen within the report out of 12.6 billion, they'll do about 11.1. So between Woodcats and CFF, that's about 10% of the group's revenue. 90% is from core operation, which is Sampars and distribution.
All right.
This acquisition in North America will further diversify the base. So they have pretty strong revenue lines, as you'll see in the prospectus. So that will further help us in terms of the diversification of our revenue.
Well, speaking of the operation in North America, Marcus wants to know what position that company in North America holds within the state that it's based in. So how big of a player are they in their local market?
They're a pretty big player yeah. That's a short answer. They're reasonable.
That's a very short answer.
Yeah, it's not a publicly listed company.
Right.
So in terms of scale, they are not able to be comparing it with many other publicly listed companies. And if you understand how with the retail and wholesale supermarket spaces is structured within that space, you may have 1 or 2 large ones which are formal or part of a huge chain, and the smaller ones are not ranked 1, 2, 3. But based on the revenue and the importance that they play within the communities, I remember our focus will be on the West Indian, not only Jamaican, West Indian, and the African market, African community. So as a result of that, we'll be able to when we get there, to use the data and to see the data based on our growth to see what are the causes of the growth, where the revenues growth is coming, where the growth is coming from, so that some of these statistics based on a public listed company will be able to discern those statistics and be in a position to make comparison. But what is known for sure is that it is growing, it is very profitable, and it with our organization skills and our ability to really use spin-off and the synergies between what we have within our distribution space in Jamaica and what is there, the growth and the potential growth is just huge.
So it's a company that's already targeted or already popular among that market, the West Indian and the African market. So I definitely see where the synergies come in, like you've been mentioning. Stephanie says, what happens if the acquisition falls through?
Many things have slipped between the cup and the lip, but not this one.
Where we are now, it's a virtually done deal. The buyer and the seller are pretty happy with where things are, and it's just a matter of finishing up the transaction. So
Yes.
it's
Our
the risk
duty,
of that happening is very low,
yeah,
but like I said, we're a very agile company, so
yeah.
nothing to worry about.
Over on Facebook, Andre Williams says loyal and motivated workers are key components of a business's success. How many do you employ now, and how many more do you expect to employ over the next few years as you expand?
Didn't get the question properly. You said lawyers?
No,
Loyal.
loyal
Oh,
employees.
loyal employees.
What's your
Well,
staff complement now?
well, throughout the entire group, we're close to 700 people. Um, when we go to New York, that will be another 70 or 80 people.
95, Derrick.
Oh, sorry, there you go. You know the numbers better than me, 95. Then we're going to go, we have other stores we're going to open in Jamaica, and typical store complement is going to be over 50. So we will continue to be increasing the employment of Jamaicans in the business. We have other expansion plans within the to give us organic growth that will require us bringing on new talent. So we continue to increase the numbers in terms of employees as we grow the business. We have no plans on laying off and getting smaller. That's not in our ethos at all.
And Sean asked, if the US acquisition doesn't come to fruition, could you provide projection on how the next best targets will impact earnings, seeing that the US acquisition projections were provided?
Pretty much let's go to
And
the
it's like, that's not gonna happen.
the truth is it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, but we can do a lot with $1 billion, you know.
1.2.
That will give 1.2, that will give shareholders a lot of value.
In fact, an additional 1.2 billion that will make us debt free. And our debt expense is just over 220 million, 230 million, excluding overdraft/fees. So right there and then you would have seen our bottom line from just doing only that one activity would have gone up by an additional 220, 230 million dollars.
Yeah, but like we say, you know, it's a done deal, pretty much. It's going to be done. We just can't say it is until we have, you know, the ink is dry on the paper, but we are pretty much in a very, very, very advanced state.
Early 2021, you said. So pretty much as soon as you get the money from the APO, I have paid the people the money.
Pretty much, you know, pretty much. And I mean, to be honest with you, we have other possibilities that we're looking at, so we could pivot pretty easily. You know, we have other stuff that we're looking at, but this is a done deal pretty much. I mean, as long as they pay, you know, the APO and all of that, it's gonna happen.
Well, you know, we're after 8 o'clock already. Look how the time has gone. It's already almost 10 past 8. But before we go, I wanted to get your perspective on the Jamaican economy, because, you know, COVID has really hit us hard. And a part of your, you know, projections for growth, both locally and in the US market, depend on the economy's ability to bounce back. So what do the both of you see happening in 2021? Especially locally here in Jamaica? How do you see the economy bouncing back in 2021?
Okay, well, we have seen segments of the economy begin to bounce back a bit. Well, we want to thank God that we have not had the worst of the breakout of COVID-19. Things could have been a lot worse. I think the authorities have done a reasonable job in managing the crisis. Nobody's perfect, but overall, it has not been a bad job. In terms of the economy, we want schools to be back open as soon as possible. That's a part of the economy. People may not realize it, but there's a lot of commerce that's around schools. But more than anything else, we want to see our children, you know, resume their education. It's not easy for a lot of the students. You know, a lot of them are not even really getting the right instructions online. So we want to see schools reopen. The tourism industry, which is one of our main sources of foreign exchange, will continue to struggle, but we're thankful that most of the hotels are open, although the occupancies are low, but they're open. We don't see tourism coming back until the second quarter to third quarter of next year. But Jamaica is well positioned to take advantage of that. So that will help the economy. We don't think, pretty much where we are third quarter here, we should continue for the first two quarters next year. We're in a sector that, you know, demand is not much lower. People still eat 2-3 meals a day, some 4 and 5. So the demand for food is still there. People haven't actually found a substitute for food yet. We have pivoted to the products that people are buying more of and stocking less of the products that people are buying less of. So that's our outlook as to how the economy generally and how it will affect Derrimon trade, and we don't see it affecting us in any serious way adversely. There are other segments of the economy that will suffer, but in terms of food and food distribution, I don't think we're going to have much, particularly basic good supplies that we supply mainly. We don't see that changing much.
Yeah. Well, my only reservation is how the dollar will move, given the levels of fluctuation that we have seen in 2020, and at this point in time, we have seen some revaluation, but there are still the method and the different the prices that are being quoted by different players suggest that some players have something going on and another one doesn't have doesn't have the flows to allow everybody to be within the same vein. I think the BOJ will have to bring some levels of subcontinental support into 2021 if tourism continues and to be in the mood, and if it returns with what is happening in the US economy. And hopefully after January 20, we'll see some changes in posture and in terms of what the impact of the vaccine will do in terms of commerce and ability for people to interact and to get back into some levels of normalcy in the US. So that will also have some impact on remittances. But given where we are going, food remittances is one of our solutions, and that will bring some foreign exchange for us as a company. And I think also with what we're doing in terms of the expansion will help us to, with some level of, bring some level of supply for us. And that will help us within the domestic space to be able to not to intervene into the market with the levels that we'd want to. And that will help us to, turn with the turns that is necessary for us and our supply. So my biggest issue, as I said, is the foreign exchange, other than that which have been postulated by Derrick.
Yeah, we're all watching that dollar for sure. Well, thank you so much, Ian and Derrick. I wish you all the best with your offer when it opens on the 6th of January.
And thank you, Khalila,
Thank you, Khalila,
for having us, and thank the listeners or the viewers, for participating. We appreciate it, and you need to go and get your orders filled early because there's no guarantee.
Yes. So let me just tell you, you can download the prospectus if you haven't read it yet, and if you still have additional things that you want to know, you can download it at KalilaReynolds.com. The link is in the description box below on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, remember the offer opens January 6th, and it's scheduled to close on January 26th, but there's no guarantee it will stay open until the 26th. So if you're interested, you want to put those orders in fairly early. The lead broker is Barita Investments, so you can participate online via baritaboss.com or any of the authorized selling agents, Proven Wealth, Scotia Investments, JMMB, JN Fund Managers, or Sagicor Investments. So thanks again, Ian. Derrick, all the best to you. Thanks to all our viewers this evening. And if you missed the beginning, you can always watch the replay on youtube.com/Kalila Ray. Let's get this money. I'm Kalila Reynolds. Later, guys.